As much as I love these UNIQLO shirts, I'm getting annoyed that damn near every dude has them. Like, the button down is gone. As you get to this age 30 area and you start going out, whether it's just like a dinner, maybe a club scene, a bar scene, even people's birthdays, it doesn't matter the event, right? Like anytime a guy has to quote unquote dress up, the button down has left the building. More than likely, dudes just don't even have this stuff in their closet anymore with, work from home. Things have just gotten much more casual. Even if they are in the office, more than likely they're wearing a t-shirt, pants, maybe a polo. If anything, like let's say they're on the farther end of the spectrum and they're wearing a suit, button down, like a white button down. They don't have all these Express 1MX button downs to wear to the casual birthday, the casual dinner. And so I feel like, every single brand has this, right? The plain tee, the beefy tee. Oh, and now, Uniqlo's kind of capitalized on this the big t-shirt market, the big t-shirts like this one. I think it's just the regular tee, but they have the Airism soft. They have the oversized ones. And I love Uniqlo. I'm not gonna lie. It might be my new just go-to anytime I need something basic as far as like a t-shirt, socks. I haven't really tried their underwear. They got some cool pants. They got nice jackets, cardigans. Damn. I might be yearning a sponsorship. And speaking of that, actually, I forgot to tell you guys that the Express sponsorship that we mentioned, probably it's been way more than 10 episodes or more ago. And if you see a lot of the show notes, there's an Express affiliate link in the show notes, but it ended. Yeah. It ended a while ago and probably was due to the bankruptcy like we talked about a while ago. How many times am I going to say a while ago? But it came to an end. So they first closed the affiliate program, which was mainly the idea that people were posting for money, right? Oh, I could post this picture. I can make a certain amount of money. Then it moved to, okay, you can still have these links, because if we have people on social media posting these links, generating visits, generating income, then we can give these people posting those links a certain percentage of that. And I think the percentage was 14, a decent percentage, especially with items, averaging $80 to $100. Finished, done, end of that. I don't even get my Express discount anymore. Oh, it's dark times now. And don't get me wrong, I still do love the brand, right? I was shopping Express way before that sponsorship came around. But, Uniqlo might be the new go-to. This week, we have a little bit more of a condensed episode. We're going to be talking a little bit about Southwest Airlines and then a couple of our modern-day queens. But first, my past week. Now, firstly, while I bump everything on the table, welcome to the Ajay Patel Show. My name is Ajay Patel, and we are on episode 48. Episode 48. Please, if you have not subscribed to the channel, drop a like, share it with a friend. Follow the other Instagram page, because as I get this social media manager person hired and whatnot, they are going to be running that page full time. So you can expect content on a regular basis, not where it's, just me posting it every so frequently, posting it on my story and whatnot. Hopefully the goal is that person will take over that page completely, and then I will not have to worry about content on that side. Now, the reason for the delay in this episode, I went to Garba last night. Now, for all my Indian listeners, you already know what that is. For my non-Indian listeners, honestly, there's probably so few of y'all. So just give it a Google search and then come back to the episode. It was in probably about 15 minutes south from here. So a really convenient location, almost like a warehouse. I think this group, it was their first time putting together this event. Solid event. I'm not going to lie. I dreaded it a little bit. Like, okay, as humble as possible. I'm pretty good at Garba, right? But it's just sometimes it can get repetitive, where you're doing the same move in a circle for a while. Your feet are hurting. It's probably not the greatest thing to be doing for your shins or knees, especially when it's on this concrete floor. When it's on basketball floors, those floors were made to kind of bounce back impact to you. But on a concrete floor, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be jumping like that. So some of this stuff I do kind of dread. And then you're sweating in this Indian outfit. You don't really have like a towel or anything. It's really hot in this kind of just little warehouse. But I'm not. It was fun. I forgot what it was like. I think I was just psyching myself out. And I do this with a lot of shit that if I haven't done it in a while and I'm like, I don't really remember it being fun. And then you go and it's like, oh, this ain't that bad. This ain't that bad because you liked it for a reason, right? Growing up, I hated Garba. I hated Garba a ton. We would always get dragged, everything was a family event, right? Back then when, the parents could not leave you at home, we would go as a full family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and myself. And we'd go to these big halls in Dallas, Louisville, sometimes kind of the Gujarati Cultural Society Hall. And my mom and my sister would do Garba. My dad and I would just sit in the stands. We would literally just sit in the stands with all our belongings. I would fall asleep half the time. This is when I was like probably 8 years old. I would pass out because I was just like, I don't want to do this. This is lame. This is Indian. Ew. That was back when I was 8, when I was doing everything I could to be black. Not going to lie. Everything I could. And then a couple years go on and you get to like 13, 14. And that's when you start kind of making a couple of friends. Actually, I didn't really make any friends. My boy Vishva and I were kind of the two outliers of the Gujarati Cultural Society group of people, right? There's a lot of boys our age, similar age, but we didn't really know them. We didn't go to school with them. We weren't in the same groups as them as far as like Mandir groups, this, Guju group. And then we would start playing football with them in the parking lot. Now those were solid times where a dude once got hit by a car. Now, obviously, he was fine, but it is pretty funny to see like, oh shit. Like if you saw that on a video, right? You'd be like, whoa. It's a solid laugh. As long as the person doesn't get hurt, right? I wasn't driving the car. Don't blame me. But this is what we would do. We would kind of go with the whole family to these Garba events, and then we would just go stand outside and then wait for other boys to show up. And then someone would have a football, and then we'd play for a couple hours, be sweating in our, dress shirts and dress pants, and then go home. Not bad, especially for a school night. Not bad. You go get Taco Bell, you come home. How could you complain? Now in today's age, right? After I started dancing and getting much more comfortable with it, learning a couple more of the, the traditional combos. It's fun, I think up to a certain extent. I think I mainly like going when it's people that I know going. So you get to kind of go with everyone dressed up. Everyone's taking pictures. You have a couple of the, Pani Puri, Pav Bhaji, whatever else they're serving at these, because more than likely the temple's catering the event and you don't normally have that food at home. So it's like, oh, this is a nice little jot surprise. And it's a good time, right? You can't really complain. So yesterday we went, you see a lot of people that you recognize. And I just wasn't really in the kind of headspace to be networking and stuff, especially with kind of other things to focus on right now in life. And then we left, picked up some Taco Bell, came home. A little thing for y'all if you haven't had Taco Bell. It's still the same. It's still the same. I know a lot of people are upset about how the Mexican pizza has changed and how much more expensive it is. But one thing I've started doing, and it's pretty solid, is getting the Baja Blast. I know it sounds disgusting, but next time you go, please try it. Now, that was Garba. The whole weekend in total was a pretty lazy weekend. I kind of just spent it. I'm trying to rush through Breaking Bad. I've been going through these TV series that a lot of people have talked about, and I just kind of missed it. And now I'm going back and watching them. So previously I was watching Peaky Blinders, solid watch. Now I'm watching Breaking Bad, which I don't like as much, but I'm trying to kind of speed through it. You know, I'm skipping from scene to scene, kind of just scrolling over the timeline and seeing like, okay, I'm guessing that this is what happens here. Okay, let's just get to the last 5 minutes. Because it's a long watch, I'm not going to lie. But I'm finally on season 5, so I will finish that out soon and then move on to maybe Game of Thrones. Now, before that, of course, I got my first paycheck. Yes. I got my first paycheck from it's like I sound like a 22-year-old fresh out of college where it's like, yo, I just got my first paycheck. But it's solid, you know, like I haven't had a paycheck since the start of summer, and that was a severance check, which, you know, is handsome, but still, that's the last time I got paid for doing something. And I was pretty excited. You know, you log into the system, you create an account, have a little password, go confirm your account, you get back into the account, you see the gross amount, you say, oh wow, I should go buy those extra UNIQLO t-shirts. I should go out to dinner, $100 for a pizza, no problem. And then Friday came along, I checked Bank of America, and boy, did I forget about taxes. Boy, this is what I mean by I sound 22, where it's, I forgot that they take literally 30%, and then I've never been taxed in California before on a corporate check. And just like that, another 200 to 300, right? So by the time you get your check, it's probably 60% of what you saw in the, you know, like in the front end system. And my issue with all this is like taxes in general, right? The loop of taxes. I pay taxes on my paycheck, then I go to a store, then I pay taxes on that. The store owner then pays taxes on his earnings. And then who, you know, like all of this money is supposed to go to an entity that we're supposed to just trust. Now, look, I'm not trying to be deep state here and try to, you know, dethrone the government. It's just like, could we reduce this a little bit? You know, like I don't need y'all to have that much in reserve. And, you know, you see what these taxes are being used for, whether it's police, other, you know, like public, what would it be called? Public services, I guess. Like, is the railway through taxes? You know, people are always like, oh, you know, I'm paying good tax dollars for that. I'm paying good tax dollars for that. I just, who could I, here's an idea. Here's an idea as I stumble over my words. What if we could donate our taxes? So instead of paying taxes to the government, I could then pay taxes to Mark Cuban. I'm going to give my money to Mark Cuban. And that billionaire then has a responsibility of taking all the money he's collected from all the people that have elected to have their withholdings put in that person's account. And that person then has to do some type of civil duty, right? Maybe it's to run, you know, the pharmacy company that Mark Cuban runs. Maybe it's to help homeless. All that to say, look, I trust these billionaires more than the government. Because they got to $1 billion, right? The government, people that work in the government, they don't drive the nicest cars. They're still flying commercial, right? Everyone saw that whole thing about Ted Cruz on a commercial flight to Cancun when Texas was going through a hurricane or whatever it was. People in the government don't make money. Everyone's always talking about Nancy Pelosi. Oh my gosh, you know, you got to copy her trades. She's definitely insider trading. She's one of the few, truly. Now, don't get me wrong. Everything she is doing is corrupt. And yes, she's a billionaire, probably the wrong way. And that is something we frown upon. I get it. And a lot of other billionaires we frown upon because they probably did something immoral. I get it. But the point I'm saying is if you have a trusted billionaire that you could donate your taxes to And instead of kind of just the government going and running and spending it however they want to, instead it's just spent on something you think that might be a little bit more intellectual. For example, I came across this story originally from the All In podcast. And so I pulled it up here where it's the Biden-Harris administration announces state allocations for $42.45 billion high-speed internet grant program as part of Investing in America agenda. So basically, they are going to run a bunch of internet lines throughout the country, and then states will have internet, I think, for free. So I'm trying to find kind of a paragraph to quote to y'all. But there's basically a list of all these states and the allocation amount. For example, California gets $1.8 billion. Now, the Department of Commerce's National Telecommunications and Information Administration today announced it has allocated funding to all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and 5 territories to deploy affordable, reliable, high-speed internet service to everyone in America. This quote-unquote Internet for All initiative is a key component of President Biden's Investing in America's agenda. I think we need less internet. I think households need less internet. It should be a luxury. Growing up, I had to, get those AOL cards. I couldn't call some girl that I liked from elementary school while someone was on the internet. The struggle is nice a little bit. People have to then talk to each other at dinner. People then have to, maybe spend time inside the house, outside the house. They have to do actual chores. They have to actually read a book. Now, look, I'm not trying to be all, back in my day, we didn't have internet. No, it's just a matter of this is what tax dollars are going to. This is what tax dollars are going to, where they are now going to wire all this free internet. Here's $42.85 billion. $42 billion. So everyone can have free internet. How does that make sense? Why? I don't want people I don't care. Right? Imagine if you just told people, hey, instead of you having free internet, I'm just going to take 10% less from your taxes. That will equate to paying for internet for the next 3 years. And then you stack on the years that you're making 10% more per paycheck, and you can pay for internet. Who cares? Bro, imagine you and your spouse, the amount that y'all are paying in taxes to, let's just say federal taxes. Do you think that's more or less than what you're spending on internet? Where, like this whole Investing in America thing, there are certain spots in America, I'm sure, that you cannot get internet. But fuck them. Just live in a different area. And more than likely, the people that are in these pockets of, towns that don't have internet, they want to be there because there is no internet. Now you're telling me there's internet everywhere? This is like what's that movie with Shia LaBeouf? Eagle Eye? No, Eagle Eye, where it's like Big Brother. Like they everyone's on the same network. So now I can track this person doing this, looking at this. Who's this person dating? What is this person buying? What is this person's internet search? You see, sometimes on this podcast, we get down to the root cause. This is why you got to subscribe. So why you got to like and share with a friend, because we are satirical, but at the same time, we drill down to what are we actually seeing in this story. And this whole internet ploy, Investing in America, get the hell out of here. This is all just a ploy for a nice, good old, simple, clean Big Brother initiative. Everyone's on the same network. I, as the government, can track everything. But I'll twist the story and say, hey, you know what? I'm actually providing you free internet. What the fuck do you mean you're providing me free internet? That's my tax. I'm providing myself free internet. I'm literally paying you taxes while I'm paying for internet. And then you're going to give me those taxes back and say, you're going to give me free internet. This is what I'm saying, right? Like I didn't think about these things when I was 22. I was just like, oh, whatever. When's the next party? But this is the deep state mindset you get into at this age. And speaking of this age, my birthday is next Saturday. Yes. So I've been trying to figure out what to do for that because I do love birthdays, but at the same time, I've just been hesitant to put a lot of effort into planning one out, getting everyone together, especially with like planning a wedding on the heels of that, right? You know, a bachelor party is coming up. You know, this wedding is coming up. So you want to kind of keep your pocket a little bit tight. Also, you just got a job. You just got that paycheck. The government's already taken 30% of that. California's taking another 200. So Gavin Newsom can tell some kids they can change their gender whenever they want. If you're hosting a birthday, for me personally, I believe you have to pay for stuff, right? You do have to host one big aspect of it. Hey, you know what? I'm going to pay for everyone's alcohol. I'm going to pay for everyone's dinner. If I'm hosting it at my house, you have to pay for everything. I can't be like, oh, did you pay the $30 entry fee? If I host it at a bar, there's like a $4,000 food and beverage minimum. And I get it. Oh, it's your 30th though. Bro, it's so binary. Like it's another birthday. I get it. We should celebrate these big milestone birthdays, but at the same time, if you don't care, fuck it. Like I'll just celebrate my 32nd birthday in a big way. I don't know. But anyways, on to our stories. More than likely, a lot of you also got this email, but probably deleted it from Southwest Airlines. And it was kind of announcing this change in program, right? We talked about it on the episode, I think a couple of months back, where Southwest has announced that they're going to do seat assignments. Me, myself, I'm ecstatic about it because I hate people having that freedom. I hate people getting on the plane and then them making a decision. I believe travel should be the least amount of decisions made by people ever. You should be able to get on that plane and know exactly where you have to go. You sit down. Because then you end up with this whole system of people putting their bags up, at the front of the plane, and then they go all the way to the back. Now, let's say you take that row 3, row 4, row 5, because you got to take a middle seat. Now, you can't put your bag up there. Now, the bag got to go all the way in the back. Now, the plane lands. Now, you got to get up. Now, you got to wait for everyone to pass because that hallway doesn't fit 2 people going back and forth. Now, you got to go all the way to the back. Now, you come all the way forward. You see what I'm saying? It's simple shit like this. Where your bag goes on top of where you're sitting. And you don't put your fucking backpack up there until, like everyone sat down. You're like, okay, you know what? There's a little bit more space up there. Bro, people get so upset. You be trying to put your bag up there and there's someone's backpack and then they're like, don't crush my backpack. Don't crush my jacket. Bro, then you carry that shit. Put that shit under the seat in front of you and let me put my big ass suitcase up there so I don't have to go back to row 36 to put my bag up. That's just part of it. Right, people are always reserving seats. People are always kind of blocking off stuff. Like I've always seen it with like normally a person traveling by themselves. They'll sit in the window seat, then they'll put something in the middle seat, and then maybe put something on the edge seat, and then they'll just look out the window. So then they're avoiding eye contact at all costs. You see what I'm saying? Like I just want people to be steered where they need to go. When you're dealing with this many people, you have to steer them a certain way. Like herding sheep, right? Herding sheep? Yeah. You can't let them all roam free. I think that leads to inefficiency. Now, I get it. It's, you can pay for upgraded boarding. You can pay for to get on earlier. So more than likely you lock in a certain seat. Also, does it matter where I sit? We're all going to the same place. It matters where you sit. Don't start with that shit. So the Southwest email that came in, it was basically an announcement of that, where it's like, hey, like for the past couple of years, we've been doing this. But firstly, the one thing that won't change is bags fly free. Now that's got to be a nice thing to hear, right? Because Southwest, I really do salute them to that. The bags flying free and the whole flexibility of changing a flight is great. Then in the email, they talk about the seat assignments, where instead of checking in and I get B11, for example, I just got that for my flight to Dallas tomorrow. Instead, I'll get a seat assignment where it's like, 5B. And I really do wonder, like, the accuracy of people booking together and then them getting seats together. Because that's the hope, right? You sit with the people that you're traveling with. So then there will be this massive cabin, similar to probably just like American Airlines or any other airline, where if you don't care, you'll just get a seat assignment. And then if you do want to maybe sit further in the front, get an exit row, then you can pay money to get those seats. I think this will probably do wonders for Southwest staying in business. I saw a TikTok that was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the new Southwest Airline flight that's going to be set to go live in 2025. It's so amazing. And that's great, right? Like, I think if Southwest can make that money off of the customer for the people that want to choose assigned seats, right? This is only for people that want a certain seat. And more than likely, they have that disposable income. If they're already saying, like, you know what, I want to sit in row 5 instead, then they can reinvest that shit. There's this massive study. If you're ever interested, go check out this study about an airline taking one olive out of their salad, and they saved millions of dollars. And that's what you got to do. These airlines are set for bankruptcy at any point in time, where you never know what's going to happen. On top of that, this program probably won't. And in the email, they say this, where it doesn't go live until the end of 2025. So we probably won't see this change until 2026. That's a year and some change from now. So all that to bring to a close, which is, I'm excited for the change. I understand a lot of people will be upset about it, but bags still fly free. Now, my next story is kind of around the whole P. Diddy stuff. Now, everyone's, obviously the internet's been buzzing about how crazy these, what were they calling it? Not sex parties. What are they calling it? Let me, should I look this up? No, I'll just leave it. But basically, Diddy was hosting some nasty ass parties, right? And now they're trying to disperse the net, right? Where as far as if you were connected to this dude during this time period, we also got to investigate you. And the internet does this more than probably the actual FBI because the internet has time. And people have dove into the Justin Bieber connection, the Jay-Z connection, the 50 Cent connection, and a lot of people that have been saying things about him during a certain time, and people kind of just brushed it off and kept moving, right? Like, more than likely, if one person was saying like, hey, Nickelodeon's being nasty over there, people probably brush it off. Unless that fire starts and the internet can grasp it and then, make it even bigger than what it is, nothing really happens, right? People probably did complain about Harvey Weinstein when he was first giving people roles for sex. But nothing really happened until it became like a fire. Same thing with this, right? P. Diddy's been around for a minute, bro. A minute. We were all drinking Ciroc in college, don't lie. For a minute. And now, like, even with all these past interviews of 50 Cent saying he was doing some nasty shit, Kanye West saying stuff, the dude from That's So Raven being on clip saying P. Diddy had sex with him. All of this stuff is now resurfacing because something is actually happening. Now, I talk about this because people are trying to say Beyonce and Jay-Z are part of, the Illuminati per se, where they have been wanting to be at the top of the industry for so long, and they are in cahoots with P. Diddy, and they should be investigated. Now, look, would you be surprised if they said Jay-Z was part of this? Probably not. But our queen Beyonce? Nah, bro, not our queen. H-Town Queen Beyonce? No way. They're literally saying that she is the reason that Aaliyah died so young, that they had her killed because she was going to be on the top of the game. Whereas the plan was for Beyonce to go, always reach that peak and stay up there. this is what I don't like about these conspiracies, right? Where it's like, I'm arguing with myself here, where it's like, if it's true, holy shit, you cracked the code. But if it ain't, you're only just kind of you're just smearing shit on someone's name. And a queen? Everyone's talking about, oh, she just lost 4 million followers. Who has the time to look into this? And if you do, salute. You're probably doing a justice to the world if this to be true. But the internet's a nasty place. Losing 4 million followers, don't get me wrong, right? Beyonce has like 320 million followers, so this doesn't put a dent in anything. But it's just the speculation that just rubs me the wrong way. Like, let's leave the queens alone. Let's focus on these nasty dudes. I get it. Let's get them out of here. I don't think Jay-Z's involved. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think it just doesn't seem. But then you never know, right? I didn't think that about P. Diddy. Actually, but I had my suspicions. Anyways, leave the queen alone. And speaking of queens, the other thing I saw on my feed this week was Aishwarya Rai. Oh my gosh. Now, firstly, I'd like to say, if you've said anything disrespectful about her in the past, in the present, due to her being a bigger lady now, you shut the fuck up. Okay? Bring this mic closer. This lady was once quite literally the most beautiful specimen on the face of this planet. I think she won Miss America or Miss World, but it doesn't matter. Go on YouTube and look at some of her greatest hits. And you tell me if you looked anything close to that. Anything close. If anything close, then sure, you can talk shit. But from what I've seen out in this world, y'all ain't touching her. That's a god. Fuck a queen. That's a god right there. So I don't care how big she's gotten. You shut your mouth. Now, she was at Paris Fashion Week. The Paris Fashion Week kickstarted its lineup of big banner shows yesterday in the City of Love with iconic Walk Your Worth showcase. Aishwarya Bachchan has stepped out in a floor-length, all-red silken tent gown from the French brand Morse. The off-shoulder numbered features. Yeah, basically she walked the Fashion Week runway, and she did it as if it was just yesterday. Can I put a picture up maybe? Like, I need y'all to understand how beautiful this god is. And this is after being in that Bachchan household. This article is also very poorly written, the Hindustan Times, but we can move past that. Yeah, basically why I wanted to talk about the story is to remind all of you to never talk shit about this god. Don't you keep her name out of your mouth unless you're saying anything positive, because that is actually a god right there. I think she needs her own talk show. Truly, I need to get in touch with her to start a podcast, because holy shit, that would be the most amazing thing. I don't need Kelly Clarkson to have a talk show. I need Aishwarya Rai Bachchan to have a talk show. And maybe it'll just be Aishwarya Rai soon. Now that with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Ajay Patel. I'll see you guys next week. And goodbye.